Well, Cornell West is coming to town. Uh, Today is Friday, the 11th of August, and I'm sitting on my porch with a cup of coffee. Yes, whipped cream. And I've been thinking about this all week, so I wanted to catch you up a little bit before the craziness of tomorrow. So, in July, there was a Unite the Right rally led by a local man named Jason Kessler, and um, they're doing it again tomorrow, August 12th. So there's going to be a lot of neo Nazis, um, white supremacists, etc. And there's going to be a huge counter protest by anti fascists, the liberal minded, etc. And I'm going to go this time. I didn't go in July, but I'm going to go this time. The Unite the Right rally is a response to the city's long, arduous decision to remove the Robert E. Lee statue and rename the two downtown parks whose names were, I don't know, dubbed most offensive. There was Robert E. Lee Park for his statue, and then Stonewall Jackson Park, named for that statue. The Lee statue is going to be moved or sold or something. I don't really know at this point, but it was a very long, drawn out decision. There's legal implications. Yeah. So, Jason Kessler is very outspoken and has invited thousands of his closest racist friends to Charlottesville to protest this action. Earlier this week, the city not denied his application for demonstration, but at news of how large the gathering has become, they requested he move the rally from Emancipation Park, it's the new name for Lee Park, to a much larger space called McIntyre Park. And of course, this irritated Jason Kessler, just kind of sparked further anger about the suppression of whites. I'm still trying to understand it. But needless to say, it's going to be a very crazy weekend in Charlottesville. But my main goal is to just sit and observe and read. So I've got a stack of books that I'm going to be taking with me, along with some snacks and water. But guys, they closed the library. They closed the Central Library on Saturday because of this rally, because of how huge it's going to be. I don't understand it, but I'm going to go and I'm going to try to understand. I think for me, the message is fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, and hate leads to the dark side. Because if I don't laugh at this, I probably would just shut down. So, wish me luck, and I hope that this video will be useful to you. Sorry for injecting some politics into the booktube world, but it's pretty serious here. Friday evening, I got the Rotunda and Thomas Jefferson in the background. I'm going to St. Paul's Memorial Church to go to a church service, like a prayer vigil kind of thing. Cornell West is supposed to be there. It's not my favorite, honestly, but I did want to go to church, and my only other option was 6 a.m. Not happening. It is about like 10:40-ish at night on Friday, and I just got back from a prayer service at St. Paul's Memorial Church, which is an Episcopal church directly across from the University of Virginia's Rotunda building. It's the iconic building of Thomas Jefferson's academical village. I wanted to attend a prayer service because I thought it would be good for me to feel a blessing. But it was also fascinating to participate in what felt like this out of time, this what do you call it? Anachronistic experience. It felt like walking back in time. And I think that's some of my issue with what's going on in terms of the left's approach right now. And don't get me wrong, when I literally saw the torches and heard the angry chants of the Ku Klux Klan rally that was walking across the grounds to the Rotunda, it made my decision, if I had to choose a side, it made the decision very easy. I'm going to choose the people who want to gather in a peace vigil at a church over the ones who are yelling so angrily and carrying torches. But the rhetoric being used it's rooted in this long history of struggle and historical traditions and oral traditions and just cultural traditions that sends a very mixed message. So the preachers, including Cornell West and Dr. Tracy Blackman of St. Louis, they encourage people to think in terms of struggle. One of them literally said, "Make no mistake, this is a battleground." And the central figure of the sermon this evening, was David and Goliath. In particular, she emphasized that we can't be satisfied with throwing one stone at one Goliath, but we have to cut off the head. So even though her sermon gets around to saying, how do we do that? Through love. The weapon of God is love. Framing it in these very aggressive terms of struggle and war and battle, for me, it's just in conflict. And what I'm seeing so far is angry, fearful people yelling at each other from both sides, both speaking out of this deep-seated fear. On the right, a fear of loss, of privilege perhaps, or a fear of being left out. And on the left, just a general fear of violence against them that will continue. And so it creates this intense defensiveness. So while I was at the church, the news came in that Kessler and the ACLU won the case against the city, and so the Unite the Right rally is definitely happening in Emancipation Park, also called Lee Park, and that's right downtown. I'm definitely feeling scared. It's very different, but at the same time, I just feel this compulsion to witness, not to bear witness in that very aggressive, in-your-face way where I'm not saying I know what is right. I just want to witness, be there, and experience this, and we'll see what happens. Complex stuff. I'm back at the house. I was at the library from about 9 o'clock to a little bit around noon, and then I tried to find a place on the downtown mall to like grab a coffee or a water or something because it was really, really humid. But there weren't very many places open, so I ended up just leaving and coming home around 1 o'clock. As I expected, it's a lot of angry people on both sides, and there were fist fights, there were group aggressions, angry words, a lot of angry words, and throwing water bottles, between the two crowds. Tear gas. No thank you. Excuse me. No thank you. I did experience pepper spray, not directly but indirectly, and it felt kind of like a bad allergy attack. I was a little confused, but I was trying to read. I didn't read a whole lot because it was very, very loud, very quickly. Turns out the city had given a permit to the counter protesters that overlapped with the permit they had awarded to Jason Kessler's group. And so before the neo-Nazi rally was even supposed to start, the state police, the local police, all of the police just declared a state of emergency, an unlawful demonstration or gathering or whatnot, and dispersed the crowds. I don't know. I think it's a very tough situation. I certainly do not condone the violence of the alt-right, the right, the white supremacists, whatever you want to call them. I was scared last night when I was trying to leave the church service and waiting for my husband to come pick me up in the car. And the torch rally was approaching. I could hear them shouting blood and soil, and then I could see the torches, and they were coming closer, and it was a little bit scary. But I just don't think that labeling anybody is going to resolve anything. I was turning a few pages in the Amin Maalouf essay on identity, violence, and the need to belong, and it's really on point. Just that when you assign a singular identity, when you label someone according to one aspect of their very complex identity, then that's when you trigger on either side, in anybody, for whatever reason. That's when you trigger this kind of defensive and aggressive and violent resistance. And yeah, I need to take a shower because I still feel like I have pepper spray on me. But then I think I'll continue reading for the rest of the afternoon. My husband is very happy that I'm home. It seems like dispersing the ralliers, the neo-Nazis, only inspired them to go to other places in the city and engage with Friendship Court, which is a low-income housing project very near to the downtown, and McIntyre Park. So it's just a bunch of chaos, and you can watch a lot of this on the news and reports, and I'll try to link things below and try to provide a broad perspective. But yeah, this is Charlottesville this weekend, and it's really bizarre because tomorrow I will be in roughly the same spot volunteering volunteering with one organization, one local nonprofit, to renovate another local nonprofit. Building Goodness Foundation is going to rebuild the lounge living room space of the Haven at First and Market, which is a day shelter. And it's just I just think it's going to strike me as just a shock to see the difference